Earlier this year, I spent a week in Panama City. I wasn't a tourist sitting on a resort. I was a digital nomad living like a local. Here's what I learned and why I've already decided to come back. Now, you may be wondering why I decided to go to Panama in the first place. And to be honest, I actually stumbled upon Panama by accident. I was planning on going to Argentina for 4 months and learned that Copa Airlines, which is an airline out of Panama, had this stopover deal where you could stay in Panama for a few days to a week and not incur any extra charges. So this, alongside the Panama skyline, which I thought was pretty cool, made me decide to do this. I decided to stay there for a full week to split up my flights and explore the city. Now, regardless of my first impressions of Panama, I remember driving along like this forested area with these nice tall palm trees and just thinking how beautiful the country was. Then my Uber got driving along the ocean and I seen the skyline, which was incredible. It was very scenic. It felt similar to what I imagined Miami or California would be like driving through there. There was one spot where there's quite a bit of garbage in the ocean and the tide had gone out, which was kind of gross. But aside from that, everything else was beautiful. When I got to my apartment, it was kind of in a weird area. It was kind of like sketchy, but not sketchy at the same time. There's an abandoned school next to it, and there was a few buildings that were like low-income houses. But at the same time, the building was nice, and right on the other side of the school, there were fancy buildings again. So had I gone close to the water, it would have definitely been like a fancy area. But where I was, it was kind of like on the edge of a sketchier area that was going into a nicer area, if that makes sense.
I'm on my prime, I'm feeling like Steph. I get my shot and I promise it's wet. Waited too long, but I told him I'm next. I need my bag, just want me to check. Cable was mine, I ain't taking less. I told them all I'm as real as it gets. Shit be a shit, dog, I'm cutting the net. I thought I told them I came for my spot. They told me time is like money, that's why I done made it. I sweat it, I'm spending a lot. They never seen the hours I put in to get here. They only just see what I got. I spent my time in the lab all this winter. I sweated the summer is gonna be hot. I cannot lie on this shit. I paid a lot for this shit. They got some money to spend. I got some money to get. I gotta talk on this shit. That's why I told them I'm here. I feel like I'm in the league. I just keep making these hits.
Now, the only real turnoff to Panama is the cost of living. No, I honestly never got a real good feel for it as I was only there for a week. And honestly, to get a good feel for any given area, you need to spend at least a couple months there. But from what I could tell, it was only really 10 to 15% cheaper than North America. That being said, though, the infrastructure in Panama is a lot better than other Latin American cities. As I said earlier, I'd compare it to like a Miami or a California. There's skyscrapers everywhere and it just gives me that vibe. So in that regard, it definitely makes the extra cost of living worth it. Now, in regards to life as a nomad in Panama, the internet is really good. As I said earlier, the infrastructure is amazing, so it's to be expected. I found it a little less walkable than places like Argentina or Peru. It's not a place where you can walk everywhere you go and never need an Uber. I did have to Uber to the gym a couple times because it's getting pretty late, or to what's called the old town where all the bars and restaurants are. It's a little bit spread out. I mean, you could walk there, but I think it's like 45 minutes to an hour to walk there, so it is quite a distance. One of my favorite parts of Panama was walking on the Cinta Costera, which is like a boardwalk along the water. Unfortunately, you can't swim near Panama City, but it is still nice to walk along the ocean and see the modern skyline as well as the water. I thoroughly enjoyed doing that. Panama is a great place if you want a mix between Latin America and the US. It's very modern. It's very much like the US cities, but it's also got that Latin American vibe and it is a little bit cheaper. It's very safe there, so If you're someone who is brand new to Latin America, then that's a great spot to go. If you're someone with some cash, Panama would be a great spot to go. It has a lot of fancy restaurants and bars that you can enjoy. The weather was honestly amazing when I was there. It was pretty hot, but that's to be expected in Latin America. It was a tad humid, but wasn't unbearable. I definitely recommend getting a place with AC when you're there. But if you're wanting to skip the winter, it's definitely a place that you can do that.
Now, at the start of this video, I mentioned that I'm going back to Panama for a month this year. And I'm doing that for a few reasons. The first is I'm getting my residency down there. I really liked the country and want to be able to stay there longer. You also get some tax advantages if you get a residency there. So between these two things, I decided to drop the money and get myself one. But honestly, regardless of the tax advantages, I just thought it was an amazing city and would like to spend a lot more time there. It's beautiful, it's cheaper than North America, and it has a very similar vibe. Not to mention the rest of Panama looks amazing. I'm not going there for longer this year just because it's too expensive for me, but as I improve myself and grow my income in the upcoming years, I definitely want to be able to stay there a lot longer. Now, if you're new to Latin America and you're not 100% sold on Panama based on what I've said in this video, then check out this one. It compares Peru to Argentina. Those are two other beginner cities that I recommend going to. And if Panama doesn't have what you're looking for, one of them definitely will. Also, don't forget to click subscribe. I'm dropping 2 new videos every single week and you don't want to miss them.